So we got a very interesting PlayStation 5 Pro leak slash kind of insider thing, which again I can actually link this because it is very much in the news and everybody's kind of talking about it and things like that. So I'm sure a lot of you would be very interested to kind of hear this. Listen, I know like people get tired of hearing about the PS5 Pro and all that kind of stuff. I just gotta say, for me, I like doing the videos about it because obviously it's a good idea to gauge people's interest in this thing, right? Like, I think we're past the point where people are just okay with like the regular PS5 and Xbox Series X and S or what have you, and that makes a lot of sense to me. You know, like we want the latest and greatest. We get these phones and all that kind of stuff, and we upgrade them quite often. Except for me, I don't upgrade mine hardly ever. But you know, I'm a cheapskate when it comes to phones. I only use mine to text a few people or check X or Instagrams or what have you, or look at a YouTube video. Yeah, so it's not really a dire thing for me as long as it can do certain things. But I want to get into it. Should be a fun video. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews, back with yet another video. I do daily gaming content, just in case you wanted to know. If you guys would also help me out and like the video, that would be fantastic. If you would subscribe, even better. Let's try to get those likes going. Slap that like button. Let's try to get those subscriptions up. Would definitely be much appreciated. So, a lot of people are wondering, hey, is the PS5 Pro still coming in 2024? When's this State of Play going to come? When are we going to get any answers? When's Sony going to show off some games? When? How? What? Why? Where? Like, those are all the basic journalistic questions, and now we're starting to sort of get some answers for it, and it looks like it's right on schedule to kind of right where we wanted to see it. So, you know what? Again, I like to see that, these are the types of things that we're starting to hear. We're obviously getting very close into the September area where this has been rumored for a while now. So here we go. Per journalist Jeff Grubb, whether the PS5 Pro will be announced at the State of Play, it looks like it could be. It's hard to get too many weeks in a row without PS5 Pro rumors resurfacing time and time again. With questions surrounding the console's purported announcement growing louder, it seems like official answers may be coming from Sony, which, hey, good. Jeff Grubb, who recently claimed in an episode of his Giant Bomb podcast, Game Mess Mornings, that the PS5 Pro is still very much on track to release in 2024. In spite the fact that you've yet to really hear any kind of official announcements, something that previously leaks have claimed as well. Now listen, I've mentioned this whenever I've reported on the PS5 Pro or anything like that. All you have to do is look to the past to see kind of what's up, and you would notice that they announced the PS4 Pro a couple months before it released. So September announcement with a November release. Sound familiar? It sure as heck does to me. So that's basically sort of where we're at with this entire situation. And, I get, like, people are still out there trying to act, like, surprised. Like, oh, this thing isn't real or whatever. Of course it's real. Like, how many times do I got to mention this? It's basic business. You're not going to announce this thing in January with a November release date. Why? Because it would kill sales of your console. Only Microsoft would be stupid enough to do something like that. And guess what? It cost Microsoft game sales. We've seen that time and time again. So, honestly, Sony, who has been, in my opinion, very lackluster so far this generation, they've released kind of some lackluster games. Things aren't exactly going amazing for them, in my opinion. And especially on the software front, we got like terrible games like misses, like Concord, obviously. They've had some successes, clearly with like Helldivers 2, which is a really good game. I think you have to start making games that appeal to the majority of people. When you have Concord hitting only 700 people on Steam or whatever, it's clear that new modern audience that everybody loves to talk about is not the one that's going to get you the most, sales and players. It's just not. Because the majority of us don't want to play that kind of stuff. It's just like with that Star Wars stuff, right? The Star Wars Acolyte or whatever it was. That wasn't a show for the average Star Wars fan that grew up on Star Wars. That was some kind of lame attempt at a modern audience telling of Star Wars. And it had such abysmal viewership numbers that it got canceled. And, again, you're spending $180 million on this crap. And it looked like, I've seen better fan-made shows and movies on YouTube on Star Wars, right? So it's not really too surprising. You have to do the things that really appeal to your fan base. And there's no other way around it, to be quite honest. So anyway, when will it be? When will this state of play be announced, though? September has been suggested in prior reports, and that's what Jeff Grubb seems to be hinting at as well. Sony has another state of play presentation, not a PlayStation showcase, planned for September, and though he says he's unsure if that's where the PS5 Pro will be announced, it wouldn't be surprising in the slightest if it were. Either way, if a state of play is indeed happening next month, it probably won't be too long before we hear about it from Sony. Clearly, if I ever hear anything, new in terms of like updates and things like that, I'll be very quick to pass that on to you guys. I know you guys are pretty hungry for like the updates and stuff like that. For me, it's weird that we haven't really got a PlayStation showcase. It's a real shame for me anyway that's kind of the case. I wish that we would get like a big old showcase. I miss those. I miss the way that we used to get those type of showcases and stuff. Sony used to really put on a hell of a E3 show, and now it's like, to me, it feels like, hey, they honestly couldn't care less about putting on a show. It's like, and why should they, right? This is the drawback of not having competition, folks. Like, I don't know how many times I got to preach this, but the drawback to no competition is this. It's just sad but true. Metallica said it best. Sony feels no pressure from Microsoft to put anything out, and they don't have to, because you would be very silly to buy an Xbox right now, right? Like, I wouldn't trust to get one. If you had money and you're like, which one should I get? I would probably say get a PlayStation 5, not because I play PlayStation 5 often or anything, but to be quite clear, it's something that I feel like you have to be able to know that there's going to be a future for the platform. And when it comes to Xbox, I don't necessarily believe that there's some magical future for the platform. I just think that, they're trying to make it seem like a bad investment, so people, skip out and maybe don't buy it and things like that. So, it's really unfortunate that that's happening, but I'm not surprised at all that it is happening. So, again, we'll see how this kind of helps out in the future, and if people can kind of do something that's going to really kind of surprise people, I think that's going to be exactly what they need. We need somebody to sort of surprise the fans. We need people to get the fans excited about the future of the platform, and Sony just does a much better job than that. Like, I hope that we get, obviously they're going to Tokyo Game Show, we're going to see Death Stranding 2. Why wouldn't they show that off running on a PS5 Pro at this point, right? Like, that's just, factual that it would make sense for them to do that. We need to see that actually kind of come about. At the same time, they've got other stuff that they can really showcase if they want to. They've got the games that they have, like the Venom game. They've got Wolverine. They've got stuff in the pipeline. Whatever Naughty Dog is working on. These are things that they absolutely 100% can do a really good job and a good showcase of, hey, we've got these games coming. You don't have to worry about it. Here's stuff running on a PS5 Pro. Hell, I'm sure Microsoft is going to help them out along the way. Call of Duty looking great on the PS5 Pro. We're going to have, that's just how things are going to be. It's unfortunate that that's the way it's going to be, but Microsoft just does not care about the fans anyway. And when you look at what is kind of happening, it's very clear that Microsoft doesn't care about having the best place to play their own games. Look at it already. 3 of the first 4 that went to PlayStation played better on PS5, and that's just a standard PS5, right? If you look at things, things weren't even it's not even a shock or anything that kind of happened. We just were kind of waiting to see how they handled things and whatnot, and those games played better on PlayStation, and I'm not surprised, right? It's just like, and it doesn't go the other way around, because Ghostwire Tokyo, which came out a year first on PlayStation 5, was actually worse on Xbox a year later. So yeah, it's they just don't care about their own platform. Anyway, I'll link this. Let me know what you guys think. PS5 Pro coming soon. Rack 'em up. Crep Gamer out.